Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another show of Systemic Caseism, where we make fun of pretty much everything and talk about how screwed up everything is. Today we're going to be talking about coworkers from hell. We've all got them. Sure, you've worked with somebody that just drives you absolutely nuts. Uh, the point of this is to basically point out these sociopathic employees that you've been working with and let you know that it's not just you. Or maybe you are this person. And if you are, likely you don't know you are. We've all got bad coworkers. Almost all of my coworkers are awesome to work with. Like, we all get along, we bust each other's balls, we get stuff done. Sometimes we even hang out after work. We'll all go to lunch together. I'd say like 90% of the people I work with are awesome. But no matter where you work, there's going to be that guy or that girl. You all know who I'm talking about. The one person that everybody kind of groans when they walk in the room. The person that you wouldn't want to go to lunch with. The person that's likely making the place that you work fucking terrible. Now, I've had the displeasure of working with one of these guys this week, and everything that we work on gets pretty much screwed up. Anyhow, I had to work with him in a meeting. We've got some big project going on. Not going to say what that project is, so I don't want to disclose where I work. However, still that it's a big project with a lot of moving parts, a lot of different vendors involved, and this guy, no matter what, he derails everything and makes working on whatever the project might be exponentially more difficult. Uh, he has this clear ability to insert chaos or inject chaos into every project, and he's got just an uncanny skill when it comes to just sort of getting out of the way of the destruction that he lays. We're sitting through this meeting. It's 5:30. Everybody else is gone for the day except me and a couple of my coworkers, the good ones. The one that's not so great is a remote worker, and I'm not crapping on remote work people because most of the people that I work remotely with are fine. But this guy uses the remote work to his advantage without being able to pin him down and stop him from talking. He will talk right over you. And he's usually the one hosting the Zoom meeting, so he's got the ability to mute everybody else while he doesn't make his point. So as we're sitting through this nightmare, I started to document his skill set because it is a skill being a sociopath. You've got to admire some of the nonsense that these people bring, and even admire the fact that they're able to keep their jobs when they are so bad at them and somehow avoid accountability and responsibility with like a laser like precision. I mean, you can never pin these people down for anything. They have a way of verbally disarming you, shifting the conversation. And this particular guy I'm talking about is not very smart, or maybe he's a genius. It's very possible he's a genius because he's been working here for almost a decade. I'm pretty sure he makes more money than me, and he is great at not getting anything accomplished. So I started looking at his abilities, and here's what I've come up with. Don't commit to anything, especially dates and deliverables. If somebody's trying to get or confirm a date or time with you, tell them it'll be sometime next week, maybe towards the middle of the week. Don't ever go with Monday. Tell them middle of next week. Make sure that you do it after the meeting's already occurred, so that in the next meeting you can gaslight the hell out of them and say, no, 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 I said it was next week. They won't give firm dates. When he's addressing the group of us and somebody does try and pin him down and you can actually catch him on something, usually that something is a lie because this person is a compulsive liar. What he'll then do is move to the gaslighting. You start getting things like they'll bring up something that you actually took accountability for and throw it in your face. Another skill that this guy has is that he's got the ability to bore you to death with details that don't matter. All right, this is usually the opener because in a Zoom meeting, and I know I'm not alone here, I think it's really hard to keep everybody's attention, especially if there isn't video. So, what he will do is start off by, let's say, reading an email that everybody's got and has already read. He'll mute all the microphones so you can't interrupt him, and then he's already lost your attention. It's a great way of disarming people, and if you are allowed to speak, he'll put a stop to that. Hey, hold on for 1 minute. Let me finish. I'm not finished with what I'm doing. Can I make my point? Um, Except he never has a point to make. When you have a point to make, he will talk over you. Like, hey, why didn't we get item A? Why haven't we received item A at the shop yet? You said that it was going to be here this week. And instead of answering it, you'll get a, well, I have to check with logistics. I believe the problem was on our end. And then he'll start a conversation with somebody else that's on that meeting that has nothing to do with the original point. He can quickly weasel his way out of any sort of trap. You want to accuse other people of not paying attention when you lie about something. Okay? When you're caught in a lie, the most people, I think most decent people, will go, all right, you're right. I was BSing you. I was bullshitting you. Not him. No, 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 no. He will gaslight you and accuse you of actually being the one that wasn't paying any attention to what he was saying. I never said it was going to be on the 10th. Where'd you get that? Well, from you. One of the things that he's a master at is not putting anything in writing. So when you're dealing with these people, you want to get something over an email. Otherwise, it didn't happen. And the other people that are in the meeting, they're already, you got to remember, they're already not paying attention because he's bored them to death. Another tactic, part of his strategy, part of his mastery, is to throw people under the bus that aren't there. All right, the best thing that you can do to shift the focus away from yourself when you're not doing your job is to point out somebody else's failures. Make sure that they're not there to defend themselves. And it doesn't have to be blunt. It doesn't really even have to be specific. You can drop hints like, man, I really like Gabe, but I've noticed he's missing all of his deadlines and he's been a little bit off lately. Nobody really even has to agree, but if you say it enough, it will sort of get into the psyche of everybody that's in the room. If whatever project we're working on fails, it's going to be my fault. All right. It's going to 100% be my fault. Even though it isn't my fault, it's going to be my fault because the overall responsibility falls on his shoulders, and that just can't happen. However, if it succeeds, it only succeeded because you listened to him. That's the way that they play things. That's how it goes. And it works just about every time. I'm going to tell you right now, if you're not a sociopath, you better start taking credit for the things that you're doing and let other people know the things that you're doing. I mean, it might sound strange, but when you're working with one of these people, they will gladly accept praise for your accomplishments and the projects that you've successfully made happen. Don't just assume that like your boss knows or that other people know or yeah, the company is going to recognize. Bullshit. The company is not going to recognize. What they're going to hear is this sociopath taking the credit for everybody else's accomplishments all the time. So they've got a distorted view of this person. What you want to do to disarm people when you're a sociopath is you provide a non-apology apology. When you've gaslit somebody to the point that they yell at you or that they really come back with facts. Maybe they let an email slip through that you got, and you go, no, 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 I can prove it. He will apologize, but the apology goes something like this: "Oh, I'm sorry you feel that way. Didn't realize you were so sensitive. You know, I thought we were on the same page. Must have just been miscommunication." It's always miscommunication. It's never that they screwed something up. It's never that they're a terrible employee. It's always miscommunication or you. The sociopath is never wrong. You want to really what you'll notice with these people is that they want to really minimize the efforts of everybody else doing the work. This particular project that we're working on, like I said, it requires a lot of people. There's a lot of manual labor. There's a lot of technology. There's a lot of programming and integration that has to get done. And our sociopath has no ability to do any of it. So rather than listening to the people that actually have to do the work, he has this unique tick where he will minimize the efforts of everybody. It's not a big deal. You just swap out a couple parts. How hard can it be? See, when you diminish the amount of technical skill or physical work that goes into something, you can make it seem like everybody else is just being lazy when you provided an unrealistic timeline. All right, nothing is better than giving somebody 2 weeks to do something that takes 6 months and then immediately going to the boss and sowing the seeds of doubt about their ability to get it done. It has nothing to do with you. So if you're a sociopath, you get to the boss first. You let him or her know, hey, look, I don't, I don't really know what's going on, but these guys don't seem to be getting anything done. Do that on the day that you assign the task, right? So that there's almost no progress made, and then emphasize to the boss, and it has to be done in 2 weeks. And I told them a while ago, again with the dates. You don't tell them I told them on Thursday, February 6th, that they had something due by uh, February 14th. No, 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 no. You say that you told them a while ago. And then what that does is it takes the normal, sane employees and puts them in a defensive posture. Now, when the boss comes to you and asks, hey, what the hell's taking so long? Immediately you're going to get defensive, validating the sociopath's claim, making him look like he's actually in control and he's actually correct, and you're a lazy piece of crap. The sociopath also will become an expert in areas in which he has no knowledge. All right. You want to speak about topics you don't understand about, but speak about them with the utmost certainty for full effect. It is amazing how this works. You've got to make sure that everybody that is in the room is of the managerial class and doesn't understand the technical or physical aspects of it. And I've heard this guy go on and on and on about things that were just categorically false, that didn't exist in reality. But when he's telling it, if you didn't know any better, it sounds plausible. When you're on one of these calls, if you want to stall for time or you want to evade being pinned down for being a screw up, you want to discuss topics that have absolutely nothing to do with the call. If you can topic shift, you can get all that attention off of yourself. All right. No matter what kind of crap you're in, just shift the topic and make sure the focus of said topic is on somebody else's failures. This guy's got like I would say 80% success ratio with that. It's happened to me numerous times. It's really frustrating. But again, on the particular meeting I'm talking about, I was just observing. So I'm going to try and observe that in the future when he shifted topics and try and pin him down, likely with no success. The project that he's working on, I consider unimportant. What he does to prioritize this project is he will tell you that there's going to be VIPs involved. Like, right, let's say it's like a trade show or an event you have to go to. You want to really ramp up the dialogue about how important you are and let the people know that are working with you that they're going to be important people there, like CEOs, uh, you know, the heads of large businesses, VIPs, politicians. Just let them know that this is a really important project so that everything else has to get dropped and your team, who you've already stretched, you stretch like a rubber band that's about to snap, can be stretched even further. The last thing that he does that I've noticed is that he will draw out his sentences and he doesn't let people interrupt. You have to literally shout at this guy to get him to stop talking. And that's if he hasn't muted you first. All right. When he's speaking, I know he hears the other person that's interjecting. because when he's speaking and he gets in his lane, he will sort of wobble all over the place to where at the end of his soliloquy, you won't even know what you were talking about. Confusion and chaos is the key when you're working with these people. I don't know how it is with women. I haven't worked with too many women. I'm sure there are plenty of sociopathic women in the workplace. So if you guys got any stories to share or comments to leave, I would love to hear them. And just remember, it's probably not you. However, it might be you. And I'm not saying this is wholly bad. I'd like to use some of these tactics, but when you have a conscience and when you actually have output that you can show, when your performance is measurable, it's a lot harder to pull off. That's pretty much all I've got for today, guys. Like the video and leave some comments about the crazy people you work with. It's always good to hear stories about insanity.